let's dive into talking about the passes thing, because this is really interesting to me in understanding Vail's fundamentals. And this is sort of, I mean, and it's an industry-wide shift from this idea of like when I was growing up, you'd go to the ski slope, you'd get that little paper tickety thing that they'd clip on your parka and off you'd go for the day. Now, for Vail especially, they're doing this massive shift toward passes. And it makes sense because it's reliable revenue, obviously, brand loyalty, awesomeness, but it's also more days skied and more of that ancillary revenue. So, food and beverage, ski rentals, ski school, things like that. And so it seems to me like what they've talked about too is that Vail, they're really trying to push the lift to passes. And one of the ways they're doing that is by kind of changing up the flexibility of the pass. So I think when passes first rolled out, there was like one pass and you'd pay one sum and it got you access to everything and there you go. Now they've really they've been kind of fine tuning and filtering that so you can get passes depending on your area or depending on, weekdays versus weekends or certain things like that make it more attractive for people.
Yeah, their Epic Day Pass is one that's really interesting. That one you can pick, you get to choose between 1 and 7 days, and it gives you access to all of their resorts. So if you want, 7 days of skiing during the season at, assorted Vail resorts, that's a way to get it. It's not just the season-long passes now. And the economics of the passes, even if it sounds like they're getting less revenue, my wife and I are Disney annual pass holders. The cost of my pass is roughly 7 days of admission. That's what I pay for the entire year. So if I go 20 days, it might sound like I'm getting 13 days for free, but that's 13 days that I'm going that I otherwise wouldn't, that I'm spending money at the restaurants, at, buying my kids a new stuffed animal that they want, things like, and the same thing applies here. They're not getting any extra admission, but there's more people renting skis, taking lessons, spending money at the restaurants, using the hotels. One really kind of genius thing about their annual pass is it gives the holders 20% off lodging and rentals and things like, it encourages them to spend money every time they go. And it's a strategy that's really starting to work out. As you can see in the chart in front of you, that revenue mix, I want to say in 2021 so far, it's even more than 40%, 47% pass revenue.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and you're right. It really does come down to all of those other things that you do when you're there, and it also comes down to this idea that there is that stickiness, there is that brand loyalty. That if you're a pass holder and you tell your friends you're a pass holder, let's go ski here. It's very, very it's sticky. People look forward to getting the passes every year, and I think that's an important part of it too. And so this chart shows more about that past revenue, and you can see how they've slowly done it over time. You've got that little bit of that sort of dotted area right there is from because they had to refund they had to give discounts on some of the Epic Day passes because of the pandemic, but they keep launching different types of passes, and they're just seeing that strong number. It's great to see that kind of revenue as they keep going.
Yeah, you can see under fiscal year 2020 where they launched the Epic Day Pass that I was mentioning.
Yes.
You could, for the revenue to barely be down in 2020. Obviously they had to refund a bunch of passes, but revenue really wasn't down that much. And those day passes had a lot to do with it. And if you look under fiscal year 2021, where they launched their Epic Mountain Rewards, that's the program where the pass holders get 20% off all those adjacent things. That's really kind of, boosted revenue. So it makes the pass itself more valuable because, one of our favorite perks of our Disney passes is we get discounts on certain things in the park. We get free parking, for example. So it makes the pass itself more valuable, and it encourages people to spend more money every time they go there. So it's really kind of a 2-for-1 in terms of revenue growth. And I'd be very surprised if the pass revenue wasn't significantly higher in 2022, assuming the world achieves a more level of normalcy than it is right now.